Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Classic Quest podcast. It is episode 30, which means it's ladies' night, so Bonnie, take over.
Ladies' night.
The last time we tried that, it didn't work. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
your boy HSR.
Yo, it's your boy Chris Chrome.
And your lady friend, Bonnie.
So, Bonnie, why don't you tell us what album we're doing today, because it's ladies' episode.
Because it's ladies' night. Anyways, so we are doing Salt-N-Pepa's Very Necessary.
Yes, we are.
And that came out on January 1st, 1993, which they mentioned the year a few times.
Yes. And when did you first encounter Salt-N-Pepa in your life?
I feel like when I was a young teenager, when I was like hanging out with my hoes back in the day when I was like 13, 14, and we were like dancing around and like listening to like music. And I think this would we would put on like Salt-N-Pepa. I don't think I was the first one to do it. I wasn't like the one in the know like to start with, but like I was definitely introduced. And they've had some good hits in my life.
Nice.
Fair enough. I feel like they're like one of those bands with songs that have just always been in my memories. I don't know where they came in.
Well, I mean,
but
my mom used to listen to music like that, and like my family.
They were all over the radio as a kid. Like, but I don't think I ever really paid attention to Salt-N-Pepa or give them much credit. I know I've looked at their wiki page a few times.
I could never forget them just because their name is Salt-N-Pepa.
And like we've seen them in like commercials and stuff. Like nowadays, I've seen them in I think one for like Geico.
Well, there's a lot of references to them too.
I have this like vivid memory of watching an Ellen DeGeneres stand up, and at the end she ends it by spitting some Salt-N-Pepa. I think it's Shoop, and she just goes right in and does the whole whatever, and I'm just like, wow. That was a more profound memory, I guess, than their actual music.
Ellen, that's cool.
Yeah, and so I was kind of excited. I had a recent experience where I was forced to listen to Shoop, more paying attention to it, and they're really clever.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit excited to discuss this album because it's
a good
definitely
one.
different than, let's say, a lot of the stuff that we've been covering. So
Well,
it's just like a reverse kind of in some ways.
yeah, like the other side. I see what Bonnie
definitely
sees,
not the same thing.
Well, okay.
No,
I
not
see
quite.
both of your points because it's not the same like hard gangster ass like drug
none
dealing
of
type
it,
music.
really.
But it's still like the way I see it is like it's their point of view from living in the.
Well, of
like,
course, but my
Yeah.
point of view is that the point of view is so different than the other point of views that it creates like it's almost like a breath
was
of
just
fresh
like
air.
A roundabout of
Well, I understand.
point of views.
Right. So, what did y'all think of like the cover of them with them just all standing there with their, just like we here, we got some attitude, we ready to rock, and
pretty much
we are in
that.
fact
Yeah.
very
They're
necessary.
They
They're
look
there.
cool.
And I like the title "Very Necessary." Like they recognize their place, their purpose, and that they
Well,
know
it's a
that
statement.
like
Yeah.
without them things weren't as good. Like they are part of the culture.
They're needed.
And if I understand correctly, they were a huge part of like multiple movements and women's rights and
Yeah.
You know,
fighting for.
The feminists,
in a
like,
way-
you do you.
in a way, it's like for them, they felt like this album and their message on this album was very necessary. So I got that like at the end of it. I was like, okay, I see where they went with this.
Well,
with
I also
this whole...
feel like this is not the kind of stuff that gets talked about so openly.
But it
as
is very
you would, and
necessary.
especially back in the day, right?
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm.
even today, like when you hear the sex stuff that gets discussed, it's often very abstract or
Yeah.
very much about as much as rap and stuff talks about sex a lot, it says very little. It just kind of mentions it more than it mentions body parts more than it mentions actual interactions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And when interactions are described, it's often there's no emotions or anything. It's just strange. It's almost like fiction, whereas these ladies know what's up. And I guess I like the truth in this anyway. I guess we should.
They talk quite blatantly about sex.
Yep.
So you want to move into the album then and
Yes.
get on with this?
Yes,
Get
let's.
on with it.
What's the first one? Groove
Groove Me.
Move me.
Say yes, it's been so long, but now I'm back. Busting fat rhymes and I'm here to stay. So you
Well, this is funky.
This is really cool.
I like this song.
You can't help to dance to it.
Yeah,
I
I
have
couldn't.
very mixed feelings about this song.
All right. So the positive things about this song first are great beat, really, really nice flows. They come in strong. for a first track, I mean, they really put kind of set a tone of how they're trying to lay out their message and lay out what they're trying to express.
Yeah.
Again, the beat is just so moving that you just want to keep dancing and groove with them, and it's really fun as a starter track.
It is definitely a very fun song. It's fun. It's sexy. It makes you want to dance. It makes you want to it puts you in the Caribbean and Jamaica or something. It's kind of got that reggae feel to it. Or
to me, it was a dancehall
Caribbean.
beat.
I'm not sure.
I would say, it kind of felt I don't know if I'm wrong. Correct me, internet, but I believe it was a dancehall feel.
Fair.
Okay, maybe I'm not so good at knowing those
words.
Caribbean. I don't know. I don't know the differences. It sounded Caribbean-y.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, it was very nice. It was fun. It was grimy at one point. It kind of sounded like the Beastie Boys, the way that it flowed and the sound of it.
That last verse, I think it's Pepa goes in really grimy and almost punkish with the way she delivers it.
Yeah. And for me, this song just sounded timeless. It could be from any time, and it was just a fun song to dance to. It didn't feel necessarily 90s or.
I would disagree with that a lot, actually.
Really?
So my problem with this song is how 90s it ended up feeling to me, and I'll explain what I mean. So, I mean, the guy doing his dancehall part where he talks over it, whatever, that part was okay, and the beat is really solid but static, right?
Fair.
It is what it is, right? And I understand the kind of beat it is, and it makes sense, which is fun. It's got that kind of vibe for a party, and if this came on, what I feel like more than it is timeless is that it blends right into the vibe, but it doesn't stand out. If this came on at a party, there's a low chance of me personally.
But I feel this would be the kind of song that you would instantly want to grab somebody and start grinding up against
that's
them.
The whole dancing part,
but my point is of these kinds of songs, I'm this one's okay. It's okay.
There has been better songs made.
And then when I look into what bothered me about it the most is, so let's say everything you guys said is correct. The rhymes are okay, but so we have multiple little parts of this song. So there's the little bridge part. There's the chorus part with the groove me, which, to be fair, I did not like that part. I felt it kind of got annoying by the end.
Okay,
mostly because half the time somebody's talking over it, half the time it wasn't kind of consistent. And then there was the verses. Now, I really enjoyed the verses. I thought it was clever. You get some idea of there's some hip-hop elements of the competitiveness of they know they're good. You get some of the we like to engage in intercourse that they want to let you know, but cleverly. We'll get into that more, I think, later. And then you get some, just general, we like to dance. We just want to make you move. And that seems to be the general theme. So given the kind of song and all of that's fine.
Okay.
But the part is, it's 4 bars of verse, 4 bars of chorus, 4 bars of bridge, 4 bars of chorus, 4. But it was just so random. It felt like the structuring of this song gave me some ADD of sorts. And it was I listened to it a couple of times. And if I was at a party or something and I wasn't paying attention to it,
I think that's the point.
I agree. But I'm now sitting here listening to the song and paying attention to it.
Okay.
And you're right. The feel is really good.
So
Great
more or
vibe.
less it comes down to you have to be in a certain context for it to really work.
I don't know. I mean, we just put it on just then, and I was
which
dancing
I
to
can
it, and I was enjoying
appreciate how it has that feel to it. But I also feel look, I listened to this whole album, and I actually think this is one of the worst tracks on the album because all it is a fun, dancey fluffs track. There's not a lot of soul here. It doesn't have a high level of passion per se.
Breaking my heart.
It's more I picture this was meant for the live shows to get everybody up. This is how you're gonna open your concert set.
I could see that.
And I don't feel like it has
But then why is it? I feel then it's a good start of an album.
Which
gives
is,
you that same feeling.
Now I'm gonna say that I didn't really like the song. I get why it's here. I think it's an okay placement for it. But had this been in the middle of the album, considering that not everything is this funky and whatever, it might have been a really good pick me up track, and then let something more powerful start the album, so I can have I wanted to see, because I haven't listened to them before. I guess everyone else has, but to me come in with something that shows off your harshness, because they have some tracks that could have served better that we could maybe discuss later. But in this case, this one was really just a fun, kind of almost fluffier dance song.
Okay.
I don't know. I gave it a 3. It's not bad by any means, but like there's nothing like the beat's not good enough for me to come back to it.
It's not strong.
Okay.
It's just kind of a fun another dance song. And considering all the dance songs out there, I'm having trouble calling this a great one. To me, it's a 3. It's an average track. If it had been structured differently, I might have liked it more.
Okay.
Interesting. All right. I gave this one a 4.5 on 5. I really liked this song. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good start. It was energetic. It made me want to dance. And for, like I said, I felt it seemed like a timeless kind of song.
Nice. I actually agree with Bonnie. I gave it a 4.5 on 5. It was really cool.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoyed it. I do understand where Holden's coming from in terms of it not standing up to the rest of the tracks on the album, which is fine. But
I feel like the structure makes it feel 90s.
that's the thing. I really liked the way it was structured because it was more about the dancing and the physicalness of the song, like actually being in the club and just moving
Right.
around and stuff, and not so much about the lyrics. I get you
But
though.
it's not, no, the lyrics are good.
Right.
It's the flow. I feel
No,
like,
I liked it.
I don't know. I've said that a bunch.
fair.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Anyways, on to the next.
No one can do it better.
True.
I think this could have started the album and it would have been a lot stronger.
Okay.
Because this is an interesting song. I mean, for me, as like what I'm appreciating in the music, comes in with that nice smooth singy part. And this is a little out of my league of interest, but still really compelling
captivating.
because the song has a real point to it, right? Like it's got the we're the best element of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then what I particularly like about Salt-N-Pepa's approach to songs, like in general, outside of that first one, is every verse kind of examines a specific idea within like the main subject of the song. So
Right.
take the first verse of this track where she's met some guy who clearly has a girlfriend and she's going to smash him and then doesn't feel bad about him because honestly, if his girl was doing what she was supposed to, he wouldn't be here in the first place, right?
True.
And that's her thoughts on that. Like, women, you got to do your men, So we're getting an idea here of where they're coming from. And this is then validated in the second verse, which is, I do my man well enough that he has no particular reason to cheat, which is their philosophy, I suppose.
Yep.
And then the third verse is kind of like, as much as I'm a freak, if I say no, no means no. And you need to respect when I want to do it, and I'm going to do it on my terms. And altogether, I really appreciate this kind of song. Like, yes, you should, like, I guess, engage in sex with your partners and enjoy it and stuff. Have some self-respect. And then I guess infidelity is not the biggest thing in their world, depending on the context, Like,
I guess.
Fair. That really sums up the entire song.
I really see for me like this has like a point and a message. It makes me feel like whatever, but it also has that nice kind of dancey feel, right?
Yeah.
So it's got a smooth vibe. Maybe it's not the same kind of dancing, but it's still like if this came on at a club, depending on a different time of night or something, I'm still feeling it.
Yeah.
The chorus is so smooth, so nice.
It is.
I really like it.
The whole song is very sexy.
I like how they took being sexy and also expressed being the best in the game as well.
Yeah.
I kept getting.
They're the
Hold
best
on, but then-
at sex, and they're
but
also the best
They're
at,
really
like,
clever
rapping and,
with wordplay and rhyming, right?
Yes,
Like I wrote down a line because I was blown away by how impressive they are able. Because there's no explicit lyrical content here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We never actually crossed the line. It's stuff like
because they know how to stay PG.
when the bugle is blowing, it's all tongue and no teeth, and I'm like, oh, that girl knows what's up. And like it's all lines like that all the way through the song, and like you can just tell that these girls are very comfortable. They're very open about it, and they're confident.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's like, damn, I can see how
And this
a lot
is before
of
like the bigger like songs about sex like start really happening.
and I really, you know what I have to say, the fact that they never really come right out and say anything makes it so hot. Like, it is hot. It is an attractive song in and of itself. Like, you kind of want to date these girls. That's how you're sitting there feeling. And I don't know about the lady version, but you're sitting there like
No, I
Salt-N-Pepa,
wasn't thinking
kind
that.
of like sound like girls you want to get with. They sound
They sound
like
super,
quality.
I mean, I guess I don't know if I would want to get with these girls. I feel like I would definitely run in the same circle with them and like associate with them because they seem to have their head on their shoulders.
Get with, I didn't mean like even like the one-offs. I'm saying you kind of want to like lock that Salt-N-Pepa down. Like they are not boring girls. It's always important to find a girl who is not boring.
All right,
in my opinion.
Fair enough. I kick it.
Either way, I give it a 4.5. I thought it was great. This is like a true testament to strong female rap, in my opinion.
Wow. Nice. Okay. Well, I found this one kind of repetitive. I still thought it was a good song, and it was still fun. It was very sexy, but you know, and it was like kind of them bragging about how great they are, plus you know, talking about how great they are at sex and you know that kind of lifestyle. And yeah, I don't know. I gave it a 4 on 5.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice. I gave it a 4 on 5. It's not a bad song. It's really cool how they express themselves and how they each have their different examples of a relationship and how you're supposed to do certain things or why certain things are happening. It was really nice. Yeah. The only thing is that I don't know. I wouldn't really sit down and listen to this song. This wouldn't be my first choice. So 4 on 5.
Yo, somebody is getting on my nerves.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Talk about pep around the way, getting skis.
Yo, me and my man was getting pepper last night, yo.
Nigga, please.
This is awesome. I really like this track. I like it even more than the last song.
Somebody's getting on my nerves.
Relax yourself.
That was very repetitive.
I don't agree, man. It was fun.
Look, I understand the whole chant thing. Like, I get it. Somebody's getting on my nerves. You're chanting down the street. You're trying to do something.
It's like, it's just, aside from effects, there is no difference between the repetition in this chorus and like 80% of those other repetitious choruses that work. Like,
I don't like those.
But I mean, I think that it's also like the point of the song.
Because
but you know, it's somebody's getting on my nerves, and like I think it's them that also kind of wants to get on your nerves and get under your skin.
I don't know. I think it fit, man. I couldn't think of another chorus because the point of a chorus ultimately is to be a break from the verses to kind of let the message sink in a little bit, right?
Fair.
And it hits that well, and it's fun. It's almost like na 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 na, and like you kind of want to
really
like come at it, and like, but you can feel their frustration, and then the verses, poof, fire. Like,
well, I mean, they're kind of like saying like, whatever, you're just jealous of me, like.
I don't agree.
I think they're talking about dudes that are trying to flash them and like run up to them and be like, "Hey, I got money. Hey, I got this."
That's part of it.
It's like they're also kind of leveling up now in the rap game.
So,
and, like, they're making money.
So the first verse is about like rappers and stuff and how all these other, I guess, women rappers and stuff are coming in and trying to cop their style, and it's that almost like stereotype.
But
so
isn't it that they're like talking about that they get with guys that are like selling weed and stuff like that?
No, hang on. It's not. It's the opposite of that, actually.
Then I misunderstood this song.
Yeah, so the first verse is basically about how everybody, like all the other rappers or whatever, but they don't put the effort and love of hip-hop and the craft in that Salt-N-Pepa are doing, etc., whatever. They get on the mic, drop a couple whatever rhymes, and then that's the first verse. The second verse has this guy pulling up on her, looking all fly or whatever, and she's just like, you know what? I'm not like seduced by your ridiculous crap. Calls him a hoe and whatever and a couple other things, and just kind of gives him a fake number for like what it alluded to sounding like an escort service. And that was a little bit funny. Like, you know, we don't have time for this. We know your games. We're not going to play it. That was pretty cool. Now the third verse is about rumors and people talking about it. So what they're saying is like, I can't even date a good man without you saying stuff like he's a drug dealer or he's a this or he's a that.
Yeah, you're just talking shit because you're jealous.
Right. Yeah. So the whole point is more about approaching these different types of, like, these are all the different things that are getting on their nerves, legitimate problems they have run into. Yeah. So I would say that it's kind of the opposite of that they are dating this, is that they're trying to just do whatever, and people are, you know,
causing issues.
And like, people do talk a lot of stuff when they're jealous. I believe we ended up calling them haters later on in life, and they
haters back off.
You know, and like haters gonna hate became popular, and this is basically, that's the third verse, is haters and stuff. And I really like this song. I thought it was alive. I thought it was fun and bouncy. I thought their verses were really clever, well rapped, good energy, and about something real.
The fact that they can, I like the tonality change. how they can go from different voices and it
Oh,
gives
yeah.
it sets you in a different mood at the
Yes.
same time.
They
I'm
definitely
just like
have like cool voices the way
Yeah,
that they rap.
yeah,
and,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Honestly,
like personas almost.
I know you didn't like the hook, but I thought that this hook fit this song
I don't-
so well.
I didn't say I don't like the
And I
hook.
gave this a 5 because I can't find a problem with this song. I
I gave
could
it a
bump
4.
Okay.
I gave it a 4 only because the hook isn't bad. The verses
Forget that
are
you're
amazing.
a lady and give them what
Everything
they
is
deserve.
It's amazing.
That's
But
terrible.
It's just but like but the wording of what you were saying is amazing. It's like there's such a punch to this. Like this is like I would want my daughter, if I had a daughter, to listen to this album.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when she's older,
Yeah.
like when she's a teenager and stuff.
Maybe.
Fair enough.
I don't know. For me, I thought this was a good song. But I wasn't really all about the message, or maybe I just like took it the wrong way or something. But for me, I was just kind of like, all right, this is just another song about whatever that they just get with cool guys, and that people are jealous of them, and that's their struggle, and like
Man.
these people are pissing them off, because they're getting on their nerves.
Yeah,
And so it's like preventing them from like doing shit. So like I get it, but I'm like I didn't really take anything from it. So I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that. I think you should check the lyrics out again. That's the
have
song's
to go through it
kind of
again.
like the opposite of that. It's really like these people.
It's my bad.
Yeah, no, not to be rude. Maybe I'm wrong. I just definitely felt that this was very much like a pro-feminist, where like stand up for yourself,
Yeah.
ladies. Fight back against these rumors. Fight back
Don't
against
fall
the
into
men.
traps
Fight
and
back
shit.
against the people who don't work as hard as you. Like, forget that you're a
No, I
lady
mean-
and give them what they deserve. If that's really like the point, like stop. Like when the time comes, do what you got to do.
All right.
And I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was powerful and a really great message. Anyway, what a
Let's talk
man.
about what a man,
What a man indeed. What Yo, this is like one of those
Epic.
songs that like I can picture years of my life in the car with my parents, and this would come
Yeah.
on the radio.
Yep.
And I never listened to the verses as a kid. It was just
Yeah.
what a man, what a man, what
What
a
a
man, what a blah
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
When you
blah.
finally like
'Cause I
listen
never
to the
knew them.
lyrics, you're like, oh.
And I did this time. I really paid attention, and
Yeah.
it's you know what? I appreciate what they're trying to do with this song.
They're
I
like
like
describing
how
like the
each-
perfect man.
But I like how each of
How's
them have their own individual
Yeah.
perfect man.
Like
One of them is like a good type of like goody two shoes type guy who's like down to earth and whatever. The other one's kind of into this like
let's just say one step further. We're talking about Salt's man here, the first verse. And he is, in fact, he's a sweet and charming. He makes her laugh and stuff. He's clearly, like, you can see she's got, like, the family man is what she's going
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
That's what's most important.
I'm gonna have your baby.
And she says it, like, with this excitement and giggle and stuff. Like, it's the cutest thing ever. Like, she's so happy to admit
Yeah,
it.
but that means that she's like found like somebody that's worthy of like having her like babies
Well, agreed.
with.
It's a cute
You know,
thing.
like that this is like a
And
good
then-
guy.
You
Yep.
know, in Vogue's chorus. And then we get verse 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is Peppa.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And-
Peppa wants a chocolate dreamboat.
And he already has kids, the guy that she's with, because she sees that, he plays daddy like sometimes.
And
So the whole like security.
but then
and
it
everything,
also
yeah.
gives her gifts and stuff every time she
So
sees
he's
her.
more like a sugar daddy, I think.
It's kind of, I don't know if sugar daddy's the right thing, but let's say, because he looks really good in his clothes, right? Like, she basically found himself a really
he's in a
good
suit.
trophy husband type. Like, she cares about what he looks
on that
like,
one.
and that's what I felt. And I appreciated it, because, they're being there.
Is this the music video where they're at the beach and they're all like watching the guys?
No. That's
one?
No, that's Shoop.
That's Shoop.
This
Oh,
is
right.
just one where they're kind of whatever dancing around
Okay.
the club or whatnot. Then Spinderella shows up and tells us politely that she's into like the good touches and the back rubs and the more sensual side of loving.
Yeah. And she's the DJ.
Yep. And then Salt comes back and takes Spinderella's verse and goes a whole step further with it. It makes it a little more taboo. Again, though, it's so impressive how they don't actually say direct. They're good at puns and double
yes.
entendres.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
It's fun. And
Yeah.
then on Vogue, I guess it is, does the chorus, so I don't know who that is
And they're
really.
okay.
At the end of the day, I feel like this is one of those songs where I don't actually understand why it's as good as it is, to be honest. I think it's like
It
a
just
cute,
is.
fun,
You
little,
know why?
regular song.
You know why? We're not girls and we're not women.
That's true, maybe.
If I swear to you, like think about it. Every
You're
no.
right. You're right.
This is like what we're dreaming of, and it's just like
Don't
you know
forget
that's hard
this
to
whole
find.
entire. There's some songs on this album where I'm like, this is a good song. I'm just not gonna sing this in public or everyone.
Well, you're right. I mean,
We're-
I'm not afraid to be like, what a man, what a man.
That's
what
okay.
A man, what a mighty. And,
But you're not gonna go talk about sensual back rubs and stuff.
Maybe I would. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
It's just.
I wouldn't mind one.
Okay. Like, from a critical perspective, I'm saying I find the choruses a lot, and it's very like it kind of.
It's such a good song. It's epic. It's just like
Exactly, but
it's just part of your soul.
I don't.
So
it's that's the thing is it's
you
more
can relate,
but it's more like it's part of me as something that's part of my life for so much, and now that I've really looked at, I'm gonna give it a 4. I think it's a pretty good song.
Yep.
It's pretty solid, but it almost feels like a fluffier.
But you know what? Though, like
radio hit,
I
right?
like.
It feels like it was meant to be a single.
Yeah.
And they were definitely like it feels a little compressed and held back compared to
Okay,
some other
okay,
ones.
I get you.
Even like the way that it like trails off at the end and you think it's over and then it comes back for like another like what a man, and it like it ends again.
that
like
doesn't
I think
do
like
it for
that
me.
was I don't know. It's a 5 on 5 for me.
I really one of my comments is I do not like the long outro.
Oh, I like how it
It's
comes back
okay.
in. It gives you more
You're allowed.
because
what did
you're
you give
dreaming
it?
about that. What a
I give it
man.
a 4 on 5. I agree. It's a good song. I sang it along when I was a kid.
You guys don't get it.
Thankfully, we
just-
have Bonnie on this podcast.
I can't. I don't know. I just can't relate.
Look, really, at the end
But
of
then
the...
you just flip it around, it's just like talking about like the ideal woman then, like
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of that song either.
anyways, this is just a good song.
And you know what? This is just frankly none of your business.
True that.
That I want, I'm stepping closer. I'm not one for playing high pole like the Hossa Diddy 902.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is fun. I like this song more than the last
This is
one.
a great
Yep.
song.
Like, to me, this is definitely stronger. It's got such a high energy.
More
like,
raw.
That chorus is so good.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, like, I just
It's
feel
a
like
good song.
this is the best Let Me Fucking Peace song I've ever
Like,
heard.
to stay the fuck
I
out of my
get you.
business. I'm
I
staying
get
out of
you.
yours. It doesn't matter what the hell a woman does with her body and what she chooses to do with it and who and how she wants to have sex. That is up to her.
And I
And
love
it's their business.
I love the way she's like,
Yes, make
bring
that
him
statement.
home to bone. Like, it's so good. It's just all
Yeah.
of these little,
The whole they're
it's like,
It's a woman in charge of her own
like, they're like,
sexuality.
and I appreciate something like this a lot. Honestly, I listen to their energy on it. The beat is amazing. It's so alive,
Yeah.
and
Little
The,
Static,
the difference between a
little
hooker
static.
and a hoe ain't nothing but a fee.
it's brilliant. It's like,
Okay.
and then I like the fact that like they're just kind of like, we're just respect, like, just let us do is really what they're saying.
Right.
They're like, I'm not putting my nose into your business.
Right.
Like, I don't care what you do or who
But
you
it's
do
more,
or
it's
how
more
you do
universal.
also-
It's like
it
everybody
also-
just needs to stay out of everyone's
They
business.
say everybody
though.
gets horny. Everybody's fucking.
And then,
Just
if I'm
deal
not
with it.
mistaken, it also mentions a bit on the idea that they hear gossip and choose not to listen to it
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like, what's the point? You can't pay attention to all this stuff. If you do, you're gonna go a little bit crazy. I don't know. I really
It's a good song.
I would love to see this live. I'm not even gonna lie. This is the first song on the album. Like, I kind of want to see the experience. I want to be there in the crowd while they're pumping this. I don't have a lot more to add. It's strong. It's a lot of.
It's very
Goodness.
clear. Their message is very clear. They just want to do what they want to do. I think that everybody can benefit from this song in terms of just like stay out of other people's business. Just do what you got to do,
I
and
think
just
everybody can benefit from this song because it's so fun and alive. But it's also talented and the raps are good. But
Yep.
it's also this and that and the next thing. I give it a 4.5.
4.5? All right.
Well, it's not like perfect.
I give this one a 5 on 5. And also, fun fact, in 1995, this song won the Grammy for Best Rap Performance.
Very good.
nice.
So
nice.
there you go. This is a good song. You should listen to it.
I
got a
definitely
4 for
like
me.
it.
Why? This is just like a strong song, and it's just like about a woman's choice about.
It's a strong song, and I do agree with that. They can do what they want, and they're entitled to do what they want, and everybody should stay out of their own business. I don't know.
I think maybe this album is like quite a chant for women, and so maybe that's why like you guys aren't getting it.
Well, I got this one. I give it a 4.5 on 5 because it's like sonically not the greatest. It's great, but it's not like this isn't
timeless.
A little bit like. This isn't I can put it on and it takes me to a place and it's a magical experience. This is like if I'm in the mood for it, it's the perfect song. Yeah. But it do have to be in a certain kind of mood for it. Now I really like it. 4.5 is not getting it. To me, this is a proper, fun track, etc. It's just, it's not as good as what did I give a 5 to? I happen to think that Somebody's Getting on My Nerves was a better version of this song as an example.
Fair. I see that.
Nah, not even close.
That's fine.
Anyways, if you don't like it, you can just step.
I hate to be
I'm not the one to be done. You better.
Yep.
So this one is definitely like calmer.
Yeah.
It's calmer.
The raps are slower. More. I feel like it was a little bit meant to be more fun.
Yeah, I mean, like I could see there being like a little dance number to this, like the little step.
It's a little fun in a still control-ive type of way. Like if the guy's not to your standards, like if he's not gonna run with you, like he can just keep walking.
Well, that's not really true. I'm gonna have to
she's
counter
like breaking
you.
up with a guy
because this is 3 separate verses, 3 little stories, and each one has a reason why they're breaking up with the guy.
Right.
And by making it say something like "run to your standards" is almost like diminishing a bit of what they're going for. So in verse 1, guy is like basically like insulting her, like verbally attacking her, and then expecting her to smash like right after. And she's saying, you know what, if you don't respect me and you still want to hit that, I don't have time for that. You treat me right or get out.
She knows what she's worth.
Right? Mm-hmm. Then the second guy, he used to be kind of like a baller, a kingpin, like came in really strong and whatever. And now he just kind of is lazy. Like I picture some guy who when she met him, he was like, oh, the big time whatever. And now he just sits there collecting welfare checks and not doing anything.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? Get out. You're lazy. I don't need this. And then I'm going to be richer and better for not having you.
So it's like just stuff changing. Okay.
And then so it's specific again. Don't be a lazy freeloader. And then the third one, the guy cheated on her.
But and then she says that he's a small dick and like a 2-minute man or whatever.
No, that's the second verse.
That's the second one? Okay.
That was hilarious. Honestly, no, seriously, ladies, it's a small thing. And I was like...
Yeah, she said it like 3 times.
She's like, made sure you know the point. Like, on top of that, he can't even do it. But I like the third verse because she's like, look, I know the second you started cheating on me, and so fool on you, I did it back.
Yeah.
And like, you neglected me. You let me be in this position. And say what you will, but this sounds like 3 women who got hurt by guys being stupid, and then as a result are telling them to step.
Fair.
So content-wise, I really like the song, but I don't really like the chorus or the beat, and I find the verses a little bit on the boring, slower, kind of meh side.
Yeah, I found this one a little bit annoying.
So I feel like the message and the point of the song are a lot better than the
actual
song.
Presentation.
Yeah, I could skip this. This didn't do much for me. I gave it a 3.
Yeah.
That's fair. I gave it a 3.5. It was okay. Like I said, I found it kind of annoying. Like I got it, but it just didn't. I don't know. It felt a little immature, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The chorus kind of felt like it almost like they were high school girls.
Yeah.
But like talking about mature themes.
Yeah.
I think that
it's hard to...
I think that's like part of the point a little bit, just because of like.
It's the only way they'll understand if you talk to them like they're
children. Well, no, I mean you're also trying to let like. You're also trying to target a different demographic as well, and you're also trying to know inspire people to be safe and do certain things. So.
I honestly pictured them like having a little dance move when they wrote the chorus to this.
Fair. I gave this a 3 on 5 though. So
anyway,
it's not that strong of a song.
You wanna shoot, baby?
Shoop.
You would be an Uzi or a shotgun bang. What's up with that thing? I wanna.
Now, the way you described Whatta Man as like a part of your soul,
this is another part of my soul.
This is ridiculously great.
I like how I got a little bit. I liked how I got this feeling of they're trying to make mockery of like how men objectify women. Because I felt like they were kind of
I don't know if
objectifying
they're
a little bit.
mocking.
I don't
I think
think
they're
it's
doing
kinda
it with
like-
like
Right?
intent.
I think
Okay.
they're basically going,
They're just
you
like
know what?
ogling or
This is-
oogling over guys.
We just love men, and we just want to get what we want. And when they walk
What's our weakness? Men.
And like basically, these are ladies who want it, and they're gonna get it, and
They're just horny. They just want to like. They see these guys and they're like, and I just get like
you're
all
the
like excited.
bow-legged one.
Yeah.
Honestly, this song is fun. The beat has that great energy, like
good.
the oohs all the way through it. It
Yep.
doesn't really end. There's so many lyrics, like I want you to go down on me, said cleverly. I want you to do this. The butter
Yeah.
pecan yum yum buttercup stuffs.
It's a very fun way to sing about sex. Like they just use a lot of like different sort of words and like descriptions for it and different
It's very
parts
fun.
of it, and it's so fun. It is a fun. I don't know.
And then Big Twan comes over at the end and is like, yes, and a double P, we got me because I got my 12-inch thing and we ready. And
Yep, I guess he's there for that.
and it's fun because, you know, he comes in and does his like, I want you ladies. And oof, honestly,
It's like a big sex
It's like
anthem.
they see these guys, they talk about them, and then they like start fantasizing about them, and then it like just gets them horny, and like that's like the whole song. It's
But
just like
isn't that-
them like
isn't
building
that, like,
up
how
into like.
human brains work,
that's it.
though?
But it's almost like they're
Like,
just
that's the honesty behind it. That's how
they're
it
like
works.
describing what happens when they go out on a night or when they drive
They're
by
just
and-
like
Or
going
in the
into
music video,
detail
they're all
of
in,
what
like,
they
in
a
this
think.
case, I really do think it's a fine role reversal because
Absolutely.
What-
Even in like the music video, they like zoom in on like the guy's nipples and like his abs and stuff like that, and like it's just like that's the
And-
same kind of thing they would do for a woman.
Girls,
so.
yeah.
But like, I feel like the way Salt-N-Pepa wrote and addressed the issue actually was sexy and fun. Whereas when a lot of guys try to approach this subject, they lack the imagination to use such eloquence. Because keep in mind, for everything we're describing about the subject matter, this song is G.
Mm-hmm.
This song doesn't swear really.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't do anything that
They keep it
crosses
PG
the line.
on purpose.
Yeah.
And
They
we'll
do
get to
say
that.
the R word, but it was okay to say it back then. And honestly, it's a good one. It's a 5. There is nothing wrong with this track. It goes on. It's fun. And honestly, you go out at a party and it's one of those songs where everyone in the room is like, shoop, shoop, day, whoop.
Yeah.
Shoop. And it
It's
doesn't
fun.
matter who you are. You
And
can't
I'm
help
sure
but
like you've seen it
Everyone
in
knows
movies, you've heard it on like the radio. It's everywhere.
to me, it stands the test of time. It still feels classic in 90s, don't get me wrong. It's definitely not timeless, but it's like
Yeah.
a definite throwback to a good time. Like, this is a wedding song. Like one of the songs you would put on when you're
That's
at a
true.
wedding and you want to get a fun, dancey playlist that doesn't sound like 70s and disco.
Fair.
That's
Sure,
our
sure.
version of disco.
Okay.
Fair.
Anyway,
I gave this one a 5. I mean, it's so fun. I love it. It's a classic. It's perfect. I love it.
and you?
5 on 5.
Well, I guess that song will either take you to heaven or hell.
My man Brett.
Yo, what up, Brett?
It's smoking, but it's not a cigarette.
Speak on it,
I
Pat.
want
So this one's just like more meaningful, like right away, and then right away for me, I got
Well,
the
hold on.
feeling
When you
of
say,
the
like-
Temptations and like Ball of Confusion, like the way that the flow is at the beginning of that song. If you know that one,
I think they
it-
reference the Temptations in the lyrics
so-
of this song.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like quite similar. So I think that they were obviously kind of borrowing that, and
It's also real.
It's also the first song that has nothing really
Yeah.
to do with men and sex in a direct
Yeah.
way.
It's about, like, the hood.
environment in the hood and the surroundings.
Yeah.
Look, this one was different. Okay,
Yep.
it seems like in this era, everyone's got the observations of society song, which I like. That's a good
Yeah.
song to have. But here they're going, I'm not from the hood. They're admitting that straight up. This wasn't my reality per se, but this is all the stories I've heard and the things that I've seen, and it's really kind of interesting to see what it's like from an outside perspective.
Right. That
Because
was
it doesn't have the desolate pain that would come from a lot of the people who
That's
have
true.
lived through it. It's got more of a light, airy feel, like, and this is happening. But then you can also tell that it might not be as scarring to them because of, like, the way they rhyme lines, like that Denzel Washington gory thing.
Right.
Like, it almost feels like they understand it as well as we understand it, as opposed to necessarily, well obviously
I
more
think that
so.
they have a little bit more of an insight into it.
Right.
but in terms of like
it was meant
in
to be
depth,
like a
yeah.
general
Because
comparison.
I mean, like, there are also black women and You know, like I'm sure that they had a lot of, you know, friends, and like in their music videos it's all black women and men, so I'm pretty sure that it was, you know,
But
they had heard
we're
stories
talking
from other
about,
people who lived in the hood,
like the
who were mostly
childhood
black.
of the growing up, because you listen to it and like it's an amazing song, don't get me wrong. I think that the message is really powerful, and I think that their authenticity in the song is actually legit.
But I feel like they're also questioning.
But like I you get the feeling, like, and they said it, that they didn't grow up with
Yeah.
their childhood in this situation.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like as much as you can hear stories and meet people and be a part of it,
But they're also saying at the end that they're tough, because she says, I never lived in the slums, never shot a gun, but I'll use one. Don't make me use one. So, like, she's, like, threatening, like, saying, like, I may
Which
not be from...
I love that.
Yeah, I may
'Cause
not be from the hood, but, like, I can still
that's-
act like
So
that.
that's what I guess that's where the next level comes in, where it's like, even though I don't come from these circumstances, I'm
I'm still
going to
willing
take
to,
on this
yeah.
problem and be a part of it and help with the fight. So I say it was an interesting perspective, right? Because it's not the normal
Yeah.
song.
I'm in it
this.
already, like doing
And
this shit.
I guess for me, it's more, I can find
Don't
more
come at
empathy
me.
in something like this, because I didn't necessarily grow up in that, but I see what's going on to as much as I can see, and I want to get involved and make some kind of a difference, right? And
Yeah.
so I really felt this track. I give it a 4.5. The beat's really good. The chorus is one of the best on the album, like deep and meaningful. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was in the group or not. And
It's just them, like, according to everything I found.
okay. And anyway, it's great. It's got a good. It's good to finally have something else from them on this album too. So that
Right.
was a good placement in the middle, a breath of fresh air here. Good track, 4.5. I'm really impressed so far.
Tight.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4 on 5. I thought it was good. It was interesting. It definitely felt more meaningful. But again, like, it was kind of weird, and it wasn't really like it wasn't a song that I would go to every day, but it's still a good song.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
I actually gave this song a 5 on 5. I really thought it was powerful. I thought that they really expressed their point of views on how they see things. And I also got this feeling that they're questioning heaven and hell on earth. In terms of just...
What they say.
It is what they say, but at the same time, I feel like there's this, like, confusion or confliction in themselves, that they're just like, how are we calling this place heaven when we feel like we're in hell? And I'm just like, that is cool how they did that. So, 5
Yeah.
on 5.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Sometimes I feel like Chris is a big shot.
Sometimes.
Now I'm driving niggas crazy. Everybody wants to be a yeah.
This was cool.
I like the message of the song more than I like the song. I want to put it out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the song's kind of like everyone wants to be a big shot and take shortcuts and stuff, right? And then they, like, use examples of how they took the long haul. They invested in their music while other girls were being hoes and making fast money and all these other avenues
Right.
where, like, you're either going to get, go to jail or get shot. And then,
But I feel like they're also
get
talking about
AIDS.
being taken advantage of. I feel like there was this level of, like, people when they said, isn't there a part where, like, when they were talking smack about them? I think it was at the end. They were talking smack
I
about
think
them.
what they're saying then is now that they've become successful,
People want to, like, ride their
That they're
wave.
like rich
everyone's
bitches, and everybody
looking-
thinks that they're
so
bitches.
everyone thinks that they did it with like, basically they're saying, like, oh, well, Salt-N-Pepa are famous, they had to be hoes, they had to be
Right.
this, they had to be that, even though they're like
they
look,
worked.
and they're saying, like, look, it's not our fault we got famous in Europe, that we're making money off of hits, that we're
Right.
rich now, that we pulled it off. Oh, you all want to be a big
and
shot.
Salt says that she doesn't care who she sells her albums to as long as they sell. So people
Fair
are
enough.
criticizing who's buying her albums or their albums, I
When
guess.
everyone's buying her albums.
When they're like, who cares? Like if it's going to be like more of a pop album or however they're gonna classify it, they don't care. They're putting out their album, they're making money, and who the hell are you?
And that's it. And then the idea is a lot of this stems from the fact that everyone wants to be rich and famous, and
Yep.
they are.
Yeah.
So this is another F the Haters song, which I really like. And I like the fact that they really take the time to be like, look, we just chose to live different, and now we're getting the results of that, and y'all didn't, and you're complaining to us. I like that. I like that. It's clean. It's not so much of like the way a lot of other people might floss so much on their successes. They're just kind of like, we floss on our efforts rather than their successes, and I appreciate that. But I kind of found it was another one of those na 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 feels to
Yeah.
it the beat wasn't as good as the other ones to me. I give it a 4. Like, it's a good song, but at this point, I'm like, okay, the mixing was a little weird. It didn't feel 100% right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I
Fair
give
enough.
this one a 3 on 5. For me, it was like just an okay song. It was just about them bragging and like dissing like the other people and like kind of just like whatever, you know. And I don't know, it was okay. That's
Fair
it.
enough. I gave this a 4 on 5. I liked how they addressed the fact that people are, talking smack and trying to be like them and thinking that they didn't do no hard work for it. So
That's okay, because the next one, Sexy Noises Turn Me On.
What you say, don't shy away. Say it to my face, talk sweet to me.
I've been on the other side of the fence of this song. I just wanted to start with that. I've
Okay.
been told
Okay.
a younger me was too quiet and didn't make enough noises. And phrases like, how am I supposed to know if I'm doing a good job, were said to me. And I don't know. It's, I guess, it's
Good to
sometimes weird to actually make some noises. So I'm trying to say, like, especially if, like, you're used to, like, the mom's home or something when you get started.
yeah,
I
first
guess.
few
I think
years
I
of
guess we're all
doing it
young and we
are
started
kinda
like
like-
parents' houses and stuff.
Like, I mean, the first few years of discovering it was
You
at
learn
home.
to be
And
quiet.
it's you're not allowed to make noises. And then you get into your 20s and you finally start having free moments. But you spent all those other years being quiet. I'm just in the defense. And I also know girls who are also quiet. And then I've had
Yeah.
other girls be loud. And look, I agree with her. Sexy noises do turn me on. Don't get me wrong. Wink, wink. I'm just saying. Look, this song is
Please
fun.
don't wink wink.
I like the chorus. Like, they sound like, it kind of sets like this sultry tone.
Mm-hmm.
And then that guy comes in and he sounds like he's sexy, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
I like it when you
If
rub
that's
down
what you
your
like.
back.
Yeah.
And then
Well, it sounds again like what was it, the dance hall kind of song. So
Yeah.
Right.
it's like a song that you have sex to.
that's
Like
true.
it's describing sex, or it's a song that you put on when you're like
you're about
leading
to
up
smash.
to having sex.
And
It's
then-
very much what
But
it
then
is.
in like the verses, it's just like, listen, I don't know what I have to tell you. Make some damn noise, man. I need you to make the noise. It gets me there. I mean, I think Peppa, it might not be her. One of them goes as far as being like they start relating the noises to like song lyrics, and like, as long as
Like
you
Marvin
keep making
Gaye
those
and-
noises, I'm good. But if you break up the flow, we gonna have a problem. And like, it's kind of like Shoop de Whoop and the other ones in terms
Right.
of like what it's about, except specifically narrowing in on clever ways to describe
Yeah.
how the noises men make are what really take them over the top. And I wonder if this was like back in the day a huge taboo thing, like if everybody's sex was quiet and people just were trained not to make noise and stuff. Like,
It's like
I'm sure everyone was
I mean,
always in the same situation.
if you look at like Catholicism's impact on sexuality in North America in general, it's
Right.
basically a lot of repressed suppression, and people aren't exactly liberal or free with it.
yes.
So if you go back even earlier, 24 years, it might be that people were just kind of quiet. And I've heard that there's plenty of people who stick with just the same position. And all the time, like, imagine your whole life, one position. I know that there are people like that. So, like,
All right.
I see the purpose in a track like this, and I really admire what they're trying to do with it. But I mean, by like the third verse, you're like, wow, it really just is this.
yep.
And even
Yep.
like at the end, she says like, "Oh, you gotta wear a condom, right?"
I appreciate
So
that.
I mean, she definitely is, and they both are. They're very strong advocates for safe sex.
Safety and
And so I mean, I appreciate that, considering that their songs are mostly about having sex. So
And there's a lot of respect in it.
yeah.
Anyway, I give it a 4. It's a really well-made song. I can't deny.
I gave this one a 3. I thought it was okay. I would never go back to this. Yeah, that's
Nice.
it.
I gave it a 4 as well. The creativity behind it is insane. The honesty is really cool to, get that other side from it. And it wasn't produced bad. The beat's really captivating, but I don't know how many times I would go and want to listen to this song repeatedly, to tell you the truth.
That's okay.
As long as you're not a summertime man.
Who gets turned on by sexy noises? So we have our next song, Somma Time Man, who I get the feeling this is what they're calling that player douchebag guy who guy has a girlfriend or he sleeps with a lot of girls.
Yep.
He sleeps with a lot of girls unprotected.
Because they get
Well-
some of hers, some of hers.
I thought it was a summertime guy. Like, just
It's
like,
both. It's like a
it's
double
just-
entendre.
Yeah, because it's the guy that if you take him, he's only going to be around some of the time.
And then
Okay.
like,
Because I feel like it's more some of the time as opposed
and
to
it's some of hers, some of mine,
Some
Fair
of
enough.
like the season.
It's
Yeah.
summer, yeah.
all year round.
And yeah, I mean, it's got a nice funky beat. Their flows are actually really good. I was just noticing there's some of the more intricate flows on
Yeah.
this song.
And this is where she's basically saying, like, your guy keeps showing up at my door. He's clearly not getting fed over there, so you better take care of him. Otherwise, he's gonna come looking for like, meat somewhere else. So you better give him some.
Same thing.
She doesn't want him. She wants rid of him. Like, get out of here.
I mean, it's an interesting idea, right? And I'm not trying to advocate one side or the other because the internet is what it is. But she's basically on multiple points, or they have said that if you don't fuck your man, he's gonna cheat, and if you fuck your man, there's a good chance he's gonna stay at home.
Yeah.
And
But she's also saying not to sleep around and like not to fall for these summertime guys or
Yeah.
summer guys
so
because
it's like,
AIDS is a very serious thing and you don't want to be getting that. And so like they talk about that in like several songs.
I mean, I feel like there's a little inconsistencies between their messages of going out there and banging everyone
'Cause-
that you want, and then, but
Yeah.
like, I feel like it's like, look, if you're gonna do what you want to do what you want to do responsibly, but at least apply some wisdom, have some respect. I feel like when they mess with a summertime guy, and if anything, they're the summertime girls in those
Right.
moments, right? For all
Maybe.
terms and purposes, the way they describe themselves in these moments is, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna take you, I'm gonna do you, I'm gonna bounce up. So they have those kind of moments. But on the other hand, you have stuff like this where they're like, ladies, beware of the douchebag guys, and there's
Yeah,
almost
but
this,
he's like a skis ball.
which I'm not saying is bad, because really on the other side of the fence it's the same thing, and you do have guys who are players and you do have good guys, and I guess they're saying if you find a good guy, appreciate him is the
Yes.
core of a lot of their messages, because they're rare and stuff. And I don't know, I gave this song a 3.5. I felt like it's mostly because it didn't do more for me at this point. It's not the best beat. It's fun. It's whatever. I like the rapping better than other songs, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I feel like
I
we've
feel like by
basically
this-
gone through an entire album of all the ways you can talk about sex and men.
But this is like a more specific like instance. Like she's talking about like don't fall for these like sleazy skeezy guys.
Right. Which is
and-
part of the, like I'm saying, it's part
and
of
that
the
they're always
global
going to
story.
be around, like they're just always there, like they're always hungry, they're always wanting like
Calls
somebody
them
else.
DOGs.
Yeah, and like so whatever. I mean, it's a good song, but I gave it a 4 on 5.
Nice. I gave it a 3.5 on 5. By this point, I was just a little like, okay, I get the picture by now, but I'm like the topic of it was very similar to the whole rest of the album. But other than that, I really do like the flows. I really do like the way that they are, again, changing their voices on how they can
Yeah, they're
fluctuate
cool.
between the way they go high pitch and low pitch. It's just really cool. Yeah, I don't really have much, to be honest.
Anyway, so the last music song on this album is Break of Dawn.
Keep it on. I'm gonna keep it on until the break of dawn.
So we go through this whole album of like love, sex, and that one societal song, and
Right.
we end with Salt-N-Pepa's The Best.
Yep,
Yeah,
and
of
that
course.
they're gonna rap until the break of dawn. They've got the sickest and smartest raps. They can just keep going and like just keep the music going, and they'll keep rapping.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I mean, look, it's not a bad song. The beat's okay.
It's not strong.
It just feels like a tier below the rest of this album. It feels like they were like, maybe this was an older track or something.
Something to
or,
wrap up the album. I feel like they
Yeah.
kind of just needed
I
a
just-
B-side to wrap it up.
I don't know what a B-side, but I'm confused. Is this
That's something to
as
play
a
on
closing
the
track?
lesser good side.
This is like, there's almost nothing to it. It's fluffy, we're the best lyrics, and
It's braggy
we've
and
had
just like
this entire album where for the most part they've stood out and they've had flair and personality, and I feel like on this track they gave that up. As much as it sounds like them rapping, what they're saying just kind of sounds like what everyone else is saying at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't even feel like it's particularly good braggadocious rap. It's
They're going to
just
spit hard
average.
until the break of dawn.
Like, it's an okay track. It's not excellent.
It doesn't really stand up to any of the other I'm better type tracks.
Yeah.
I feel like, again, I honestly just feel that this was a song just to wrap up the album. In terms of trying to bring back another song that's clearly about how they're rappers.
Or
and how
maybe
they're doing
like
it.
somebody was like, you can't have a hip hop album without the hype of Bugle track, and so they threw it on. And I don't know. I kind of wish
Like
this
there's
song
like
wasn't
rules.
here.
It's like how to write a rap album.
Like you have
And,
to
like
have
you
the
have to have
society
these
track.
type of songs.
Oh no, it wasn't there. They didn't have the Posse Cut song with
But
all
these
the
were the
little guys.
original Spice Girls, so they had to know what was up.
Clearly.
Look, I'm okay with the song. I give it a 3. To me, it was a bit disappointing. I was like, okay, I'm feeling it. And I'm almost like, come on, go back to rapping about how guys are assholes again. Because, like, that was interesting. At least that was
better.
more authenticity to it. Like, you believed it. And I know, like, I looked and they have lots of songwriters involved in the making of these songs. I didn't look with too much fervor. So, I don't know. I feel like they should stick with a little, like, or I guess they're kind of done at this point. But it would have been nicer to have stuck with more of the dancey, vibey stuff as opposed to I'm the sickest MC stuff, which I'm not buying that they're the sickest MC, but I was vibing their authenticity of the promoting their lifestyle throughout the rest of this album.
Well, anyways, I gave this one a 3.5. Like, again, we've kind of covered it all now. It was sort of weird. It was bragging just about them wanting to rap all night long and that they could, and, you know, that they're, like, invincible. But it wasn't that great. It was okay.
And,
I gave it a 3 on 5. It just honestly wasn't strong enough.
and when you're not strong enough, you're invincible. And see, because it's the opposite of invincible. Anyway, fuck off, Holden.
Good try.
Ultimately, there's one more thing on the album. It's a skit,
And
a really interesting one.
And it's called...
I've Got AIDS. I wasn't expecting this. Were you expecting this?
No.
I wasn't
No,
expecting
this was a lot of emotions all at once.
I'm like, first on the real, considering we know what happened to Easy and stuff and how like real this problem was.
I didn't like...
This was like,
Someone else died with like AIDS.
but like in general, so we had the girl and she's 16.
Yeah.
Make sure to tell you. And she just got back from the clinic, and then the guy.
Well, no, let's just introduce the whole thing. Like, first, like, it's Salt-N-Pepa. Like, I think it might just be Salt at the beginning. And, like, she's just talking about, like, we support and are trying to, like, you know, help raise awareness about AIDS and, like, find a cure for it. I mean, it was 1993.
Right.
It was January 1st is when this album came out. So 1992 is probably, you know, when they were recording it. And, you know, like, that was, like, the height of, like, you know, the epidemic. It was happening. Like, it was real. And, like, it was scary. You know, people around you were just dying. And, you know, it was the gay disease and it was all this other stuff. And that's something that they mention. And so, like, what they're saying is that, you know, we just wanted to shine light on this by, like, featuring, like, you know, like, these youths, 16-year-olds or whatever, talking about, you know, their message and talking about AIDS and, like, making it kind of, like, less of like a taboo topic and just being able to talk about it and not like think that stereotypes are true, that it's only for gay people. Like, this is, you know, in the skit that they're performing, it's a young straight couple that had sex.
It's like the girl has it and she's only ever been with the guy. And then the guy comes over and he doesn't want to take it seriously at first. And he's all like, whatever. Oh, you want to smash? She's like, well, we got into that. And then she's like, listen.
And he's like, well, I hope you're not pregnant or whatever.
Like,
and she's like, no.
It would be easier if I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And then when she tells him that he's got AIDS, his first reaction's like, well, that's your problem. I can't have it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm straight. It can't be me. I don't have it. Like, oh, and then my boys
But
were
isn't that what
talking
she
shit.
said? That's what she said in the beginning, though, too. When she first started, when she got off the phone, she's like, other people have it, not me. I'm not supposed to have it. And it's, it shows this, like, when it comes to something like this, you automatically, you're like, no.
Like, that can't happen
that
to
instant
me.
denial is just there.
I mean, and what's really interesting, right, is a lot of these awareness campaigns happened back then. And, like, let's say if we just take contraceptive use as an example, it really increased.
Yeah.
And our generation just stopped using condoms. So just goes to show that, like, us, our age group and younger really kind of lost this message.
Actually, I think the next, like, generation may be a little bit more into, like, just no sex. Like, more, like, abstinence. I think they might care a little bit more about that. I don't know. Maybe it's just my perception of, like, the young kids I talk to.
And then, yeah, anyway, guy freaks out. Then she kind of was five and leave. And then after she leaves or whatever, you hear him going, I don't even know why I lashed out like that. I know it's true that I did this, and I know it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, no.
No, that's what he
that's
says.
what he says.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know, because honestly, how else did it happen? She didn't
No,
sleep with
'cause
anyone
I
else.
Because
thought,
like he
honest,
like
when I
calls her
heard
out
it-
and being like, oh, well, I know you've been sleeping around. He's like, all my friends are saying
Yeah,
that
yeah.
they saw you with other guys,
but
and
the
she's
way,
like
the way
sleeping
I heard
around.
it, the way I heard it was literally just like, I'm blaming her for something I don't even know I did.
Yeah, but no,
Like, he's-
no. I mean,
No,
it's
he
the opposite of
knows.
that. 'Cause
Okay.
how do you get it? I mean, think about it logistically. If that's the only guy that she's been with, there is a reason it happened, and it was him.
Yeah,
I mean, that to me was just clear. And honestly,
and that is his fault, and he just like won't admit it.
and he
And like,
lashes
or at least
out.
at that moment, and
But
then
it-
like
but
he
I
realizes
can-
when he's on his own that it is his fault, and he does have it, and he has to like come to grips with that.
And then how he handled it so poorly.
Yeah.
And I've seen that scene played out a million times over things like pregnancies and stuff on TV.
Yeah.
And I think it's really powerful. I give this a 5. I was blown out the water. Granted, it's not something I'm going to go listen to every day. But given what it is and how powerful it is, how honest it is, how truly incredible it is, it's a 5.
It definitely throws you off of like sort of I guess the rest of the album. Although like the AIDS and like use a condom message is kind of woven throughout the album.
Yep.
It's definitely there, but I mean you weren't expecting to get this like PSA about like AIDS and
Yeah.
like and I guess like at that time it probably really like hit hard and probably was quite an emotional thing, like whether or not like you were coming to terms with it or like in denial or thinking like, oh, like that's disgusting, that's not going to be me, or like I don't know, I think people were a little bit more like uneasy about it. I think now we're at that point where it's like, okay, it's treatable, we can kind of maintain, and stop a lot of people from dying, from it. And so it's not as big of a deal. Whereas then it was, and people were just dying, getting sick, getting a cold, and the next day they'd be dead. It was just awful. So, I mean, like, this was a real thing. But I would not listen to this every day, that's for sure. But it definitely is very important, and I think it should be heard. But I gave this a 4 on 5. I hope that's okay.
No.
Well, I hope so, because I gave it a 4 on 5 as well, simply because I'm not discrediting the fact that it's powerful. I just won't listen to it.
Yeah.
I understand.
Look, if I listen to the entire album, I'm not turning it off. I get the message.
Honestly, if I'm listening to the entire album, I'm probably turning this off. I just think that for what it was, it's worth a lot, and I wish like there should be more things.
Yeah.
As a skit goes, it's a 5 on 5. It's one of the best skits I ever heard.
All right, as a skit goes.
Because I think it sounded like it was done by like maybe actors
Like a drama
and stuff,
group or something.
Yeah, it was done by
I can picture them all in chairs and stuff in the low light on the stage.
yeah.
Anyway, I guess that's the end of the album. Unless you have more to add to
Nope,
this.
that's it.
No.
I get this 4.09 or something like that. It's a good classic, I think. It's definitely not like the toppest tieriest rap album ever, but I think for its time, for its place in hip hop, for what it's trying to do, for everything,
Yeah.
it's a great experience, and I really do think that for all terms and purposes, it's very necessary.
It is
Nice.
very true. I mean, I love this album. I mean, there's definitely like some songs that stand out more than others. But and there are some that are a little bit weaker. But overall, this album was pretty fun. It was. I don't know. I love it. I mean, they're classic. They're part of, like I said, they're part of my soul. And like, it's just like what you grow up on and listen to. And it's just kind of like that girl music that like gives you like that energy and that like sexy power. And I don't know. I just love it. It was a 4 on 5 exactly. So an 80%. It's a classic, and you should go listen to it.
Nice. I gave this album a 4.2 on 5. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool, really creative. They, like we agreed, they know how to talk about sex in many different ways. They know how to use puns.
Didn't they write Let's Talk About Sex?
Yes.
Okay, anyway. Let's
We'll
talk
cover that
about
album
sex,
another time.
baby.
Anyway.
Anyway.
That's my grade for this album this week.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, that was fun, everybody. I hope you felt the
I
same
hope you
way.
enjoy Ladies' Night.
Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more. Let us know what you care about seeing, We are going to come back again next week with another review, and we'll let you know what it is then.
All right. Until next week, guys.
Deuce, guys.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.